So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. I have a couple of very, very brief announcements. The emergency exits are there on your side and just behind the curtain there on our side. You don't have to wear your masks if you're seated, so if any of you are wearing masks, you don't have to wear them. And number three, the really boring announcement, please turn off your mobile phones if you haven't done so. So just very briefly, the show runs for about 70 minutes without a break. And do remember that every single story we tell in this show actually happened, is based on real events. Thank you.
Buy a park? Upper East Side Manhattan. Prime location. Going cheap. As of February 2nd, 1973.
You don't say.
And just because it's you, I'll throw in your regular park bench free of charge.
I talked to my bank manager.
Haven't seen you for a while.
Touch of the flu. This and that and the other, you know?
I hear you. Still pretty damn cold. Today ain't so bad though. High of 45 with the sun in your face.
Yeah, well, my favorite lake's still frozen over.
February's February.
Tell me about it.
Listen, I need to remind you, you need to get the hell out of here before the late shift arrives. You know our friends, the drug dealers, the junkies, the hookers, and the good old time muggers?
Beware the murky shadows of evening.
Like the hell out of you as soon as look at you, those shadows. Attaboy.
What's wrong?
A couple of young hookers I ain't seen before. You don't like the word hookers, do you?
No.
They're harassing some well-tailored looking dude, probably a pimp or something. We're supposed to report all suspicious activity to the park patrol units. What the hell do I care?
So you take bribes to turn a blind eye?
Bribes? Me? I'm so clean even hookers ignore me.
Bless them all. For the high-pitched wailing of the squad causes their choir of angels.
Some of the police officers driving them ain't no freaking angels.
You think they'll ever get around to clean the place up?
Who's gonna be crazy enough to take on being the next David to slay the Goliath of corruption when the smartest officer in the New York Police Department gets a bullet in his face as soon as he moves his freaking ass? Say, a little bird told me you finally retired.
The little bird was right.
Best plastic surgeon in Upper Manhattan? What'd you want to give it all up for?
I'm over 70, that's why.
Really? You're kidding. I had you down as maybe in your 50s.
No way.
Cross my heart and hope to die. How do you do it? What's your secret? Look at me, I do the Mediterranean diet thing, it just makes me look older.
What? Come on, you don't look a day...
Please don't say it.
Well, you certainly haven't lost your charm.
Seriously, 70's not so bad. My grandmother was making the best vermicelli in Napoli when she was like 101.
Restorative surgery and your eyesight's going down the tubes. Not a good idea.
Oh, I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know. All those wounded vets coming back from Vietnam?
What about them?
You've been patching some of them up, right? Excuse me a second. Oh man, they're up to no good. Oh, I don't believe it.
What's wrong?
How come those hoods get out of jail so soon? Man, if I ever had any hope of justice in this world, I just lost it.
While watching so many women stride past me with a new air of confidence gives me hope.
Roe versus Wade.
The landmark Supreme Court decision. Wow. Yes, sir.
All that abortion stuff, don't get me started on that.
Reproductive rights. A woman's body. A woman's choice, right?
What about all those unborn kids? What about their rights? How come they get the death penalty for doing nothing?
And how come half of those campaigning for the rights of the unborn are the same nerds who support dropping atom bombs on living, breathing human beings, on Napalm, on innocent Vietnamese villagers.
You missed out on the gun lobby.
Did I? Well, you just missed something too.
What?
A used condom.
Come on.
There.
What kind of
Right
joke is-
there, look.
Hey, look, I'm not looking for any trouble today, okay? My dear departed mother.
The lady in your shirt.
It's her birthday today. She would have been 94. You mind if I sit?
Go ahead.
I'm just about to chow down. Want to share a pastrami sandwich?
Thanks, I ate already. Right now I feel haunted.
How?
My walking ghosts. They are creeping up on me again.
Best pastrami this side of Hell's Kitchen.
No thanks, not hungry.
Maybe your ghosts are hungry.
My ghosts are no joke. Believe me.
I'm sorry, if you think I'm being a smartass.
Lately, whenever I find myself amidst all this troubled greenery, my mind kind of keeps flipping back. 41 years.
1932.
Yes. After 7 weeks interrogation in a German jail, then 7 months being harassed by the police. You know what my first real image of American freedom was? Hooverville.
Who?
A refugee shantytown, right there.
Not the Statue of Liberty.
Tents, makeshift shacks, desperate families, starving beggars, right there.
The Great Depression. I was just a screaming brat in Italian-American diapers. So you were in jail?
Arrested February 20th, 1931. Released April 2nd.
Why'd they lock you up? Wait, don't tell me. You grabbed a couple machine guns and robbed a German bank Chicago style.
Not quite. It's not a story I tell too often.
Why not?
Ask my ghosts.
I'm asking you.
It's an unfinished of a story. Otherwise, my ghosts wouldn't be here.
Come on, you're dying to tell me. Hit me with it.
You just said you're in no mood for trouble.
I changed my mind.
You might find it offensive.
I'm on my lunch break. I'm listening like hell.
Okay. Here.
Me? I could have been a world famous variety singer by now.
Yeah, and I could have been a pope.
Look at the draw, right? 1919 it was.
Oh, end of the war, she means. Of course, you'd have been too young to remember that.
Okay, I was 10 years old.
She's just winding you up, darling.
But I was old enough to know what it was like to lose my father and my brothers in the trenches, alright? Wouldn't be here otherwise, would I?
Yeah, alright. You should be proud to be going around with us. Not every woman gets uniformed chauffeurs.
And they open all the doors for us.
Yeah, then they fucking close them again.
So what happened in 1919?
Oh, how'd she end up on the game, you mean?
You said you could have been a singer.
I was a singer, sweetheart. You-hoo, I'm calling. Yeah, well, the war. Andy, my husband, got gas in the trenches. 1918, just before the armistice. Well, when he came back, he looked normal enough, but he kept losing control of his legs, see?
Yeah, sure that weren't a syphilis?
Yeah, big, I'm sure, thanks for asking. Anyway, on the very same day I had this once-in-a-lifetime audition at the Variety Theatre, Hansy falls down the frigging stairs, dragging me with him. Damaged my hips, didn't it? So when I got pregnant, I ended up having a stillbirth. No one should have to go through that, sweetheart. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
did you do then?
Well, we'd no money, had we? And somebody had to pay for Hans's medical bills, didn't they? Baby, tell Trudy how you ended up here.
Me?
Well,
Not the 5-hour version. 2 will do.
Left school at 14. Mother worked 18 hours a day sewing and mending. Well, after Wall Street, I took a job as a domestic servant at some posh villa. Worked my arse off for the ladyship of the house for some meagre wage and 1 meal a day. 2 loves of her life, right, was this antique Japanese vase thing and her eldest son. So what happens? One day, the little prince comes back from the war, doesn't he? Desperate need of love and attention, he lures me into the bedroom. Silly me, dreaming about a secure marriage. Well, I got so carried away, I broke the vase.
oh shit. Did she make you pay?
No, it's all a bit weird, right? So just after the vase incident, she catches me in bed with him, starts screaming about common sluts, and that's it, I'm out on my ear. Well, then my mother got arthritis and couldn't work no more, so started taking in gentlemen to pay the rent, like. Well, until one of them claimed he picked up a disease from me. It weren't true, right? But, well, now I'm being investigated.
Come off it. You're always under investigation.
Up yours, Cara.
Hey, look out, here she comes.
Oh, I'm sure Dr K don't want to hear all our sob stories.
No, go ahead. I don't mind at all.
Well, we feel a bit awkward, you know, you being who you are.
She means we're sorry the bastards dragged you in, but, well, we're sort of honoured.
That's most kind of you. You bet both your bodies insults to me for so long. I'm not sure I deserve any honours.
After 3 years as our prison doctor, we think you do.
Well, the crowds out there certainly don't.
Oh, to hell with them. You're the only prison doctor who ever showed us any respect.
Well, these dungeons have already taught me one major lesson. It's no longer the case of me, the privileged doctor, slumming it along with the underprivileged. We're all equals here.
Yeah, but you've got one up on us with your education. You can speak their lingo. You know all that highfalutin jargon.
Yeah, always talking above our heads like we don't know what they're saying. Bastards!
Yes. Well, maybe all women here on earth speak a language the male gods on high simply can't understand.
Maybe. But don't let them grind you down like they do us, right?
Come off it, Cara. Friggin' devil himself couldn't grind you down. I think that's for you.
Best of luck. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Oh, we're hardened to all this. Dr. K, isn't this she?
What about me?
You? You'll just have to learn the hard way, sweetheart. Like the rest of us.
Yeah, but I mean, how bad is it in the cells with the bugs and the things and
No. There's ants, fleas, bed bugs, cockroaches, scorpions.
Ew.
They crawl all over you at night, biting, nipping you everywhere.
What?
She's pulling your leg.
Fine, I was lying about scorpions.
And then what about the wardens? How strict?
Oh, if you smile or talk too loud, every day they beat you mercilessly with iron bars.
What?
Ignore her, darling. Hey, Trudy, why is it that magistrates can't see no further than their own legal dicks?
Oh, God, because they play with them so often they go blind.
Hey, when was the last time they put any of them big gang bosses away? The pigs who have us out selling our bodies all day and all night.
I can't touch them, legal or illegal. They're the ones running the country now.
What country?
Oh, what's left of it?
Prisoner 200231, 5 minutes.
Daily life for most women is a war on 2 fronts. Harsh poverty, forced motherhood, domestic violence, mass prostitution and sexual diseases on the one side, a tyrannical justice system on the other.
Your interrogation begins at 8.
with over 500,000 women seeking abortions every year. For most, this means the primitive butchery of backstreet operations, from which 10,000 die in agony, and over 50,000 are maimed for life.
The prison bus departs at 7:15.
So what kind of hell are we creating for ourselves? Our first task must be to eliminate the inhumanity of forced motherhood.
That crowd out there, not exactly friends of yours, are they? At the moment, you're safer in here than you are out there. Believe me, we are most concerned for your welfare.
I'm sure you are.
Right. Your responsibilities as a doctor?
To relieve suffering and promote public health care for all, young and old, rich and poor.
And with regard to the abortion laws?
Paragraph 218 amounts to no more than legal torture. It's a ruling that makes life sheer hell for most medical practitioners.
Nevertheless, that law is there to protect all human life, both born and unborn, is it not?
And for women with no access to either adequate hygiene or medical supervision, what do? Turn them away unprotected and risk both lives, mother and unborn child?
So you simply invent your own laws.
4 years ago, under massive pressure from the women's movement, you mighty male gods in the High Court granted us the right to terminate any pregnancy where there was a clear risk to life.
Yet we know that several women came to you seeking abortions for economic and emotional reasons.
You can't separate the physical from the emotional. Men have no idea what pregnancy is like. What it's like to share your body with a being growing inside. It's a huge change. A colossal responsibility.
Just answer the question, please.
Whenever we refuse to operate, those seeking help become so desperate they opt for unsafe, often fatal alternatives elsewhere.
So it is them that choose to break the law, not you.
Choose? Like the day you closed the clinic, the 17-year-old who drowned herself in the river Neckar rather than bear her alcoholic, abusive father's child? A father who'd constantly beaten her into committing incest.
Playing God over life and death in your clinic is one thing, but here, Frau Doctor, you are a criminal suspect, which means we will examine each of the 210 case records placed before us in minute detail. For this, we've allowed ourselves a period of 2 months. The interrogation resumes in 10 minutes.
How long are they keeping you at it?
4 hours interrogation, 3 hours further questioning, plus a few moral tirades by the examining magistrate.
Poor you.
Yes, well, it looks as though they plan to keep me here for some time.
Bastards! Well, we'll pray for you.
Actually, it's not the interrogation. It's the solitary confinement that's wearing me down.
Oh, I bet.
Never been kept in solitary myself, but I've heard all about it.
It's a kind of sensory deprivation.
Excuse me?
When you've nobody to interact with. First comes the boredom. Then your mind goes into some kind of slow panic.
But they are allowing you to read and write?
Yes, thank God.
You're to destroy it as soon as you've read it.
Careful, they're watching us.
Hell bent on making an example of her, aren't they?
What about us?
Trudy, for God's sake, don't stare.
I'm not staring, I'm just looking.
Well, don't. Otherwise we're all in a shit.
quite a number of your records cite psychological and emotional disorders. The law, of course, does not accept such conditions as grounds for an abortion.
Wait, one more time. Where such disorders may trigger fatal illness or suicide.
So you think the law should be made by fortune tellers?
Suicide is far too common. Part of the problem is that our laws, our criminal case records with all their ice-cold legal jargon, simply do not relate to the living experience of pain, humiliation, and hardship.
Who are you to talk about jargon? The moment we granted you the power to terminate pregnancies was an immediate threat to life. What did you do?
I don't know what you mean.
For a start, you hit back with your own jargon, did you not?
How?
Your favourite phrase. Socio-medical implications. What the hell does that mean?
Harsh poverty leads to severe malnutrition. Whenever underfeeding affects the early phase of pregnancy, the damage may be irreversible and pose an immediate danger to the life of both mother and embryo.
Isn't your medical jargon just a smokescreen behind which you can perform non-essential abortion for whatever reason you see fit?
Interrogation resumes in 30 minutes.
Right, so just before they raided the Gaslight Club, this young fella comes walking past the stage door, wheeling his little trolley, and he goes, "Hey, girls, fancy a few hot dogs?" "No, thanks," I says. "We've all had enough sausages for one day."
Did you just make that up?
Of course she did. She's always making stuff up.
Go to hell, Birgit. Anyway, dashing Dora reckons it was me that triggered the raid.
What, Gaslight Club?
Well, just as she was about to nail this client after his first cocktail, so to speak, Dora starts cleaning his specs for him. Then he leans over to me and he says, "My friends tell me I have wonderful eyes." "I don't know about that," I says, "but you've got a nice arse." So he just grabbed his half-clean specs and he went off in a huff. Only the frigging deputy mayor, wasn't he? Him?
Nah, it wouldn't have been him. Grass, no way. He's got way too many skeletons in his closet. Nah, no way he'd rock the boat.
Tell Dora that.
Who's Dora?
You mind your own business.
We don't even know if they brought her in along with the rest of us.
How do we know that it ain't her that's the informer? I mean, you never can tell, right? Hey, Trudy.
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Then you'll swear on oath that you never operated on any woman whose life was not in immediate danger?
Every woman who qualified for surgical intervention in my clinic was in some sort of life-threatening situation. For example, 80% of my patients were physically exhausted from having borne large numbers of children. And of those, just over 50% had already attempted enormously risky operations, effectively forcing us to treat them as emergency cases.
Forcing you.
Yes. And apart from that, before deciding on any sort of surgery, I always seek a second opinion.
Including that of Dr. Friedrich Wolf, a communist campaigner.
Yes.
Dr. Wolf woefully makes promises of legal abortions to attract women into the communist movement. Are you a communist?
No. I'm a social democrat. And at the moment, it seems that the state cares more for its institutions than the welfare of its population.
The question of the...
Solidarity and discretion. Yet the Nazi press got a hold of the reports of hundreds of commercial abortions almost at the same time the police did.
Meaning our informer was probably a Nazi supporter.
Quite likely. Seen this?
Yet again, the law turns soft on Jewish Bolshevist fetus killers. They're being allowed to murder the Aryan race with impunity. All the more reason to keep a cool head.
Yes.
Dr. K?
Mm-hmm. Over 300 cases so far.
195 actually. Don't exaggerate.
But I heard. But don't forget what you heard. But you always tell us what you heard.
What I heard. They're trying to charge Dr. K.
I think she's holding up quite okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, as long as they don't take it out on us.
Why should they take it out on us?
Power, isn't it? If they can't break her.
You're far too young to be a bag of nerves, sweetheart. So don't let nobody scare you, right?
Yeah. Rule number 1, right?
So, what's rule number 2?
Time appears to be running out, does it not?
Dr. K seems too sure of herself.
Well, going by what we can and cannot prove, she may very well be innocent. You thought of that?
Every single operation a life-saving emergency? No, it's just not plausible. We simply need reliable witnesses.
Do we have any?
Not yet, no.
Are we likely to find it?
That depends on how long we can hold Dr. K on remand.
Well, if all we've got is an unsigned denunciation, not much longer.
There's still one more important line of investigation.
Namely?
Outpatients.
Daycare visitors in and out in a couple of hours.
Outpatients are registered, recording date and time of attendance, nature of the complaint, symptoms, etc. We've not even begun to examine those lists.
Come on. Dr. K's medical career is took out as finished. She'll be watched like a hawk, whatever she does. So how come you're so hell-bent and carry on with this case?
If Dr. K walks away free after 2 months on remand due to a lack of evidence, it'll make us all look incompetent.
Oh, is that the time? Damn, I've got to be in Berlin for the next few days. So, I can't afford to miss my train. Do what you think is best.
You sent for me help.
Yes, please have a seat, Frau Doctor. Now, as you are being held on remand on the word of an informer, your defense lawyer may, of course, submit an appeal against your continued detention.
Why are you saying this now?
We simply want to give you a chance to exercise your rights.
My rights?
If the appeal is granted, you could be released on bail. You'd have the comparative freedom of house arrest for a few weeks.
But we only have 10 cases left. Why break off now? No. I'm terribly sorry. But I would like all this to be finished as quickly as possible.
It's been an exhausting process for all of us. We only have your best wishes at heart.
I'm sure you. It's most generous of you. But no is my answer. My lawyer will present my formal response to you in writing.
Trudy? Well, they call the exercise out, don't they? What's wrong?
Rule number 2.
They decide what exercise is, not
finish your story. You know, tell us what you're in for.
Oh, yeah, right. So my dear ingenious husband, he had this better idea than me selling my body, right? Except it wasn't his idea. He never had an original thought in his head. So, like a lot of printers, they persuaded him to put his skills to better use, like in printing fake Swiss francs.
So what? Banks are always printing toy money.
Yeah, but that doesn't count as forgery. So the idea was like, I put on some posh clothes, take the train to places like Baden-Baden, pretend to be a rich tourist spending heaps of Swiss francs on exclusive goods, which my ingenious husband then sells on the black market.
Ah, so he was quite happy to let you risk doing that.
Happy? How could he be happy? I mean, neither of us had ever broken the law before, you see.
No, of course not.
Anyhow, things seem to be going pretty well for a couple of weeks. I mean, every night at a different city. Ah, my God, I thought, things are going almost too easy. But, of course, stupid me, the bank soon noticed that something was wrong. So before I knew it, my description appeared on a few wanted posters. So, voila, here I am.
Fame at last.
They're still staring at me.
Yeah, something's got them all jittery.
I heard they're trying to charge Dr K with carrying out illegal operations on 50 outpatients.
Day visitors.
But, so they're going to start interrogating outpatients?
Oh, well, once they get their teeth into you.
Don't say it.
I know the feeling, love. Don't worry, it'll be all right.
Cara, stop being so frigging...
Friggin' what?
First time offender. Few forged francs, please. She'll be out of here before she can name all the rats in her cell.
Yeah, thanks.
What the hell's going on?
The police have managed to clear the demonstrators. No violence this time, at least.
What? No agent provocateur? Huh. We are slipping. When did the doctor start to refuse food?
She started her hunger strike 7 days ago, after we confronted her with the outpatients investigation.
8 weeks ago, Dr. K was a local pariah. Now she's a national hero. Where did all this start? Surely not here. Chief of police is beside himself in fury. So where's the good doctor now?
In the medical room, refusing transfer to hospital, in no state to be interrogated.
I can't leave you people alone for 5 minutes, can I? Here. Our wonderful press release. Was this your doing?
Dr. K's move to stage a hunger strike is no more than a stage act. She has neither the stamina nor resolve to withstand a long period of fasting. She has access to her daily food rations and will no doubt soon give up her protest.
Date issued March the 21st. It's now March 28th. And Dr. K is more determined than ever. Far from making her look like a fool, whoever drafted this has made us look like fools. She's quite clearly prepared to die for her beliefs.
I had no hand in that press release.
We should have given her a conditional release. Let the whole thing die down.
Apropos the press.
Oh, how wicked we true German patriots are. We have driven a poor child murdering doctor to hunger strike. Der Führer?
The Fuhrer.
Who cares? This stuff is worse than toilet paper. So, How are we going to get out of this mess?
If we'd only managed to find just one or two witnesses prepared to
But
swear
we
on oath.
didn't! Why didn't we?
Anyone convicted of seeking an illegal operation will themselves face between 6 months and 5 years in prison.
Not to mention the embarrassment of having the names published.
Organizing immunity from prosecution for turning witness takes time. I offered to have the good doctor released into house arrest. That would have given us at least a couple of months.
She soon saw that through that little trick there, didn't she? So, are you prepared to give up the case?
I took an oath to defend the law as it stands. My position has not changed.
Right. So, what's your next move? Force feeding?
It's an option.
Oh, come on. Make Dr. K a martyr? The demonstrations out there will be as nothing compared to what they are now, man. Excuse me, if you would. Chief Magistrate's Office. Speaking. Oh, the Minister. Put him through.
The Ides of March, 1931. The prison authorities are naive enough to believe they can break my resolve by hanging cured meats like salami and ham above my cell door. How desperate must they be? It's after the first 3 days when things become more than just feeling hunger pains. And after 7 days, they continued to provide me with water. But now, each drop I swallow seems to hit my stomach like boiling acid. As soon as my body started to shut down, I asked for the chance to make a will and testament. It's only then that the magistrates became seriously worried.
A week without food? You can imagine.
No, I can't imagine. You tell me.
Tell you what? All I know is, they said she nearly died.
No. Are you serious?
No, I'm making it all up. What do you think?
She's calling her bluff, isn't she? I mean, the amount of crap they'll have to put on the outpatients to get a confession from Dr. K before she...
Don't say it.
Wish I had her courage.
She's going to fight this one to the death. You mark my words.
And here I am, worrying about a few forged Swiss francs.
What exactly do you call a few?
All right, a few thousand.
What? The hell she tells us?
Bit of a dark horse, ain't
Welcome to the underworld.
ya? Cheeky cow.
Well, I'm no informer, right?
I hope not.
I never said you were an informer. Anyway, what does it matter? Couple of hundred? Couple of thousand? Makes no difference. You're still caught in the poverty trap, like the rest of us.
Few thousand, bloody hell.
See, she's taking a liking to you now.
A liking to me. Is that what you call it?
Well, love 'em or hate 'em, I reckon Dr K's got our high and mighty judges worried all right.
Can't just let her die.
Putting it bluntly, our backs are against the wall. Yes, I know you know, Herr Minister, but ethics have... If we release Dr. K, the far right will accuse us of... Talking to people pathologically incapable of listening is no fun, I can tell you.
Our favorite minister?
How did you guess? Yes! Of course! If we release her, it's the far right will get them, and if we decide to keep her in, not only will the far left will accuse us of giving in to the Nazis, but as we acted on the word of an informer, several medical associations are accused of a serious breach of medical confidentiality. Why, yes! Oh, Jesus, this is hard work. You try.
No thanks.
Yes. yes. And quite apart from all the other nightmare scenarios. Yes, of course, with elections coming up. Yes, Herr Minister. Yes. Yeah, I understand. Yes. I'll keep you informed, of course. Yes, Herr Minister. So, how is the good doctor?
Stable.
Looks like you could use one of these.
No thanks. I never drink before evening.
Nobody knows who to trust anymore. Of course, with his old ball Hitler screaming about dismantling the judiciary of a treacherous republic.
Sir, I have the uneasy feeling certain high-ranking figures are marginalizing our Jewish colleagues.
How?
Just look at who's being promoted and who's not.
And of course, you've applied for promotion.
Yes.
So, of course, any little faux pas with Dr. K is not going to look too good on the record, is it?
And when a certain colleague casually turns to me and says, "So your wife is Jewish, isn't she?"
What? That pathetic fool!
We've already received a number of death threats.
Listen, any judge who's not received any death threats is not a judge, in my opinion. And here's something else interesting. The centre-left has now joined the chorus of those calling us the Stuttgart Inquisition. And of course, there's still a good chance that a good doctor could die in prison.
Yes.
Well, by sheer coincidence, I've been given this. There's a secret list in circulation. A list of surgeons who may have been given a considerable amount of money to help well-connected and respectable women. Could be blackmail. In other words, if we continue to prosecute this case, this list could very well find its way into the wrong hands.
God help us.
Well, God help you.
Me?
Well, like it or not, you are seen as the chief diehard behind the decision to prosecute the good doctor at all
Why?
costs.
My head is spinning.
If we have got no evidence, we've got no evidence. If we've got no witnesses, we've got no witnesses, period. So, Dr. K is in no position to stand trial. Is that correct? Correct. Given the proven medical facts that the accused is in no condition to face further questioning, following the procedures as laid down in paragraphs 36 and 37, I, as Chief Magistrate, do hereby issue an immediate release order for Dr. Else Kienle, effective from April 2nd, 1931.
God help us.
The terms of Dr. K's release are conditional upon a reopening of the investigations at a future date, as yet
Unspecified.
unspecified. Exactly. So, countersigned by you, the examining magistrate. Unless you've got any objections. Excellent. Good man. Now, let's get this stamped and sealed, and right away, shall we?
Of course.
Ah, here it is. This fucking ad I was telling you about. Celebrating a special occasion in style, our carefully crafted wines allow you to serve your husband the secretly way he dreams of being served.
Oh, let me see.
I've already filed a complaint. I think we should just boycott the products.
So, Pat, how did your therapy session go?
After what my husband said to me at breakfast this morning, what do you expect?
I don't know. What did you say?
Yeah, go on, what do you say?
You're not going to believe this. Wow, he goes. You look just so seductive. I'd buy whatever it is you're selling.
Dennis! No way.
Christelle, after 3 years in couples therapy at like $70 an hour, and he uses a word like seductive?
Well, maybe you just look kind of different, you know? After months of jeans and sneakers and sweatshirts, you suddenly show up at breakfast and, I don't know, skirts and blouses and shiny shoes.
So what? I had an interview for a financial analyst job on Wall Street. Chance of a lifetime. Lynn, you have a fine philosophical mind, but psychologically, you're so naive.
What? Why? Just because I don't pay some jerk of a Park Avenue shrink to tell me that my husband's a pathological sexist who needs another 100 years of profitable therapy at about $70 a minute?
Lynn, sorry, but I agree with Pat on this. I mean, seductive, that's seriously patronising crap.
Okay, Christelle, I have a suggestion. That ad that is pissing you off so much? How about this? Celebrating a special occasion in style. Our carefully crafted wines enable you to serve your wife the way she secretly dreams of being served. It's about profit. Ad men exploit whoever they can. As soon as they notice enough women want to ditch the stereotypes, they'll just switch the pronouns.
Lynn, you're a closet redneck.
Oh, go to hell. If we keep turning our personal frustration into a gender issue, we abandon ownership. We stop taking responsibility for our own failures. So maybe you should kind of think of that before you start, I don't know, castrating all our men.
That's so fucked up. Nobody's castrating anybody.
Sure could have fooled me, lady.
Excuse me. What the hell has our conversation got to do with you?
You're talking so loud, I thought it was an invitation to join the conversation.
Nobody asked you to gate crash our fucking discussion.
Hey, whoa, lady. I'm a good Catholic boy. Look, I got a picture of my mom in my pocket. Let me just turn it around so she's not looking at you when you cuss like that.
Oh, for God's sake. Heart.
So, a modest parkkeeper from Brooklyn on $5,000 a year confronts 3 Upper East Side princesses on at least 10 times his pay.
You know those broads.
Yes, those women. They're on one of their afternoon pilgrimages to their Fifth Avenue psychoanalysts.
Then why'd you keep so quiet?
I didn't want them to see me. Last year, I refused to do the kind of surgery they wanted. Injuries, burns, physical deformity, yes. Pure cosmetics? No, not me.
It's so late. I figured you wouldn't be showing up. I kind of wanted to see you again today.
Okay, maybe I'm running a little late. Tell me, who do you think owns most of the millionaire apartments overlooking the park?
Mafia bosses, lawyers.
Psychoanalysts. The sort of super shrinks that clone clean livering corporate tyrants, male and female.
I go to confession. All male priests, right? No, I'm just bullshitting. Haven't been to confession in like 30 years. Listen, that story you told me yesterday, she might not agree with half of your stuff, but she would sure have a hell of a lot of respect for you.
Thanks. You know, it's the first time I told that story since I left Germany.
Self-imposed silence. Tell me about it.
Sounds like it's you who wants to talk today.
I got 3 older brothers, right? An anarchist, a communist, and a gangster. Mine used to say I will always love my 4 boys equally on 3 conditions. 1, you don't fight at the family dinner table. 2, you don't kill each other. And 3, you don't use foul language in front of your mother.
That it?
I'm getting there. Back in '39, when Mom got pregnant for the 5th time, we moved house from Little Italy to Brooklyn. You know when the Lower East Side stopped being Italian? We were all kind of hoping for a little sister. But then like after 3 months, Ma got real sick, and they took her off to Coney Island Hospital. Some bigwig MD said her life was at risk and she needed some special op. You know what I'm saying, right?
Absolutely. Oh my God, I hope she was...
Yeah. Physically, Mom was in good shape after the operation. But we never had a little sister. Back then, there were things nobody talked about, no questions asked. You know the score. Sure you do. I guess it's different when it happens to you instead of the other guy.
How was your mom afterwards?
Oh, she was fine. She jumped back into volunteering like there was no tomorrow, but deep down, she was really hit hard by the loss. Of course, the guilt. Yeah, but who am I telling?
But you're still mighty mad at somebody, right?
That priest, a celibate troll hiding in a cubbyhole. You should have seen the look of devastation on Ma's face coming out of her confession the first time after the Listen, you're the first person I've told outside of the family. The story stays in my shirt pocket, all right? You want to hear something cool? Next month they promote me to some kind of ranger.
Congratulations.
Yeah, they're gonna train me to teach the drug dealers urban ecology before they send them off to prison. I'm just kidding. I talk to school kids and tourists, and I get a 20% pay raise. Not too, not
Go
too
for
much.
it. Look at me. My great mission in the 20s was to fight poverty and ignorance. And where are we now?
Mom, it's after 4:30. It's getting kind of dark.
Give me a couple more minutes. I'm fine.